Hey guys, Yu Sheng here. Welcome to another Starcraft 2 lesson. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a Disruptor drop that Zoun used in the GSL. It's super slimy, dirty cheese. It opens up with a Immortal drop, and then we get into some Disruptors, and then finally it's a Colossus all-in on 2-base. So first, I'm going to show some footage from the GSL just to give you guys some context. If you want to skip this and go to the build order, then I will make sure everything's chaptered and you guys can just click ahead like 2 minutes. Okay, let's get into the footage and then the build order guide. Enjoy.
Nice connects there. The Colossus is still alive. I gotta say, Zoun is doing about as good as a job as you can in a moment like this. The Immortal's still in the game.
Yeah.
Is he gonna be able to break Sue here? I think he might.
He very well might. I mean, this is great. As long as he continues to warp in and hits a couple more Disruptor shots, I think he's very close to breaking him now.
Colossus still in play right now at about a third of its HP.
Oh, gotta keep that alive. Micros it back from that spore. All right, another. Ooh, okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Just right on the Morphine Ravager. He tries to come in, maybe get on top of the Colossus, but another Disruptor shot connects.
Okay, the Colossus
Oh my God.
almost dead right now. Drone's being pulled. That's when you know Sue is really
oh my
scared.
God, Colossus won't die!
No.
Okay, finally, actually losing it to a Bile shot here. But again, an Immortal at full health. Drone's being gunned down, 9 so far.
Yeah, crazy damage being put out at the moment.
I think Zoun's gonna win.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. The drone's fighting once again, losing a lot of them here.
Queens are continuing to be picked off here. More Stalkers coming in. The Warp Prism advancing to warp in a little bit more quickly. Gotta be careful. I guess there's not actually enough Ravagers to ever take out the Warp Prism, so he's gonna be fine.
You gotta be careful with the Ravagers too, because those are prime targets for the Disruptors.
Hey guys, Yu Sheng here. Welcome to another Starcraft 2 lesson. If you are new to the channel, I'm a Grandmaster with all 3 races, and today we're going to be looking at a pretty awesome build that Zoun used in the GSL. So we're going to start off with a 14 pylon, and I will be leaving this build order in the description, so if you want to check that out, go take a look now and download it, and then you can follow along. Next up, we're going to be going for a 16 gateway, and then a 16 gas as well, or 17 gas. Both are pretty fine. And so basically the idea with this build is we're going to do a bunch of harass with an Immortal at first, and then we're going to hit them with some Disruptors. And then when they think it's all over, we're going to pull out some Colossus and go for a big push. So here's our gas. And I mean, this build kind of dismantled Sue. So it's a really strong build, kind of cheeky, maybe not what your Zerg opponents are going to expect, and it's a ton of fun. There's a lot of different harass options going on all match, and so you guys are going to have a ton of fun playing this build. Next up, we're going to grab the Nexus on 20, and then we're going to grab a Cyber Core on 20 as well. So this is all pretty standard stuff. After this, we're going to get a 21 gas and a 22 pylon. Now, it's also worth mentioning, you guys can check out my PvZ scouting guide, but you can see my probe is at their base right now. You don't really want to send that probe home. You want to make sure that Zerg isn't doing any sort of early cheeses or shenanigans or whatnot, because if you try to go into this build, you know, when they are doing some sort of cheese, then you're probably going to die. You're going to need to deviate if they're doing anything crazy. Okay, so now we get into the meat of the build. So the Cyber Core is finishing up. We're going to go Adept plus Warp Gate, and we're going to Chrono Boost that Adept. This is a pretty common theme in PvZ, is just using this Adept to scout. Again, making sure we're really safe. And it's also a little bit low on gas, which means we can get this Robo quicker. We just threw that down at 27. Next up, we're going to grab a Stalker when the Adept finishes. And then, this is really important right here, is you're going to save that Chrono Boost at the natural Nexus. So don't use that Chrono Boost, because we're going to need that for the next couple units. And then finish up your wall here at about 245. This actually gives you plenty of time to be safe against any Zergling openings, or Zergling all-ins rather. You could even delay that more if you wanted, but there's no real reason with this particular build. swapping the Stalker there, but that's not really that important. When the Robo finishes, you're going to start a War Prism. You're going to Chrono Boost it. Let me get off my cam so it's not too spammy. And then you're going to add a Robo Bang. And then here is a pretty critical point that when I first tried this build, I messed up because it's a little bit non-intuitive, is you are going to grab a pylon before this Immortal. Otherwise, you get supply blocked. So that does leave a little bit of a gap here in the production of the Robo, but it doesn't matter too much. And then once you have money, you can start up that Immortal and Chrono Boost it. And then here in the GSL match, Zoun used the War Prism plus the Stalker to go hunt an Overlord. So I think that's a pretty good idea. Just deny the vision, especially the vision of your gas. You really don't want them to know what you're doing.
Research complete.
Then once you're done that, you can just put them back. Put them in the wall. It's probably the better option compared to the Adept. We're going to grab another pylon. We're going to grab our gases. So you can memorize this by thinking once you get to about 16 out of 16, you can grab a pylon plus 2 gases. And here we're going to set up for some kind of light pressure. So the Immortal finishes up, and we're going to use this. Plus, we're going to warp in 2 Adepts, which I don't do in this replay. This is like my second time doing the build. We're going to warp in 2 Adepts here, and we're going to go for some pressure on one side. So you could use, 2 or 3 Adepts and go pressure over here. And then you can also use the Immortal to go pressure, let's say, in the main. So it's like a 1-2 punch. And then behind this, we're setting up for the next punch, the 1-2-1 punch. And so this, we're going to get War Prism speed, and we're going to get a Disruptor. And then we're going to follow it up with a second Disruptor and throw down our gates in a second. Let's ignore this War Prism and focus more on the build. So here you can see second Disruptor, 4 more gates for a total of 6. Recall that Immortal drop, you could delay it a little bit longer. You want to come back because you're going to take these 2 Disruptors and you're going to go harass again. And this time with the double Ruptor. So this is like our 3rd punch. And then we're going to set up for the 4th punch. I know, right? 4 punches. It's crazy. We're going to get a Colossus. And we're going to start preparing for the huge, like the final punch, I guess. The Haymaker. So our plan here is to build up 3 sentries. I'm going to get a shield battery. I don't usually do this, but Zoun did this, so we're going to do it. And this is just so that if they counterattack with Lings, the one unit in the wall, you don't need to warp in anymore. So maybe it's a good investment, actually. Warping in 3 sentries. Early. We want to get these early. You see we have a big money imbalance. This is normally bad, but since you want to build the sentry energy, it's very good to get these fast. And then I'm going to warp in 3 Zealots to kind of balance it out. And we're going to go for the push. So once you get your Colossus, I can wait like 10 more seconds, honestly. Wait for the Colossus, grab all these units, and then, meet up with your Disruptor drop maybe over here. So, during this whole part of the build, this was harassing. And then we're done back here, so you don't need to worry about your base anymore. You can just focus all of your attention over here, and you're going to start warping in mostly Stalker, but it's totally fine if you want to warp in Adepts and Zealots. Zoun actually did a very weird mixture of like 1 round Stalker, 1 round Zealot, 1 round Adept, so I'm not sure why he did that. I think Stalker Zealot is just stronger, but yeah, if you want to copy Zoun exactly, you can warp in a lot more Adept than I did here. And then you can go for this massive push here. You've been harassing all games, so it's going to be very difficult for Zerg to hold this. It's kind of like a mix of all the units, so there's no great counter. Like, if they make Lings, you got Colossus. If they make lots of Roaches, you have Disruptors and an Immortal. And I mean, the Zealots and the Adepts are going to help out against the Lings as well, and the Stalkers are going to be good against pretty much everything. So I mean, it's kind of a weird comp to counter for Zerg, so maybe a little bit tricky for them. Maybe the one weakness is like Baneling speed or something, but the thing is, at 620, Zergs aren't going to have Baneling speed. right? They're not going to be opening with a Bane Nest and a fast layer, so that's pretty much off the table. So yeah, really, really powerful attack. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video but want more specific answers to all of your StarCraft questions, make sure to check out my website where I offer one-on-one StarCraft coaching. I have 5 GM students, but I can coach any level and try to make the lessons as fun and informative as possible. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in, feel free to reach out to me through my Discord, which is in the comments section below. Thanks.